Wonder who it's from. It's a letter from Heart. Go!
I contend that this deck is probably rogue at best, which means it could hit Master 1 with an expert pilot, but I am by no means an expert. I like to think I'm pretty good at this game, and I've played pendulum decks before. I mean, I got DDD and Valence into the highest tiers of the ladder, but those are both archetypes that had dedicated communities with a lot of resources to draw from. Odd Eyes is just not that popular. If there is a spreadsheet of combos out there that I could study and learn, I wasn't able to find it. Which wouldn't be so bad if this was a small archetype that was easy to learn, but it is not.
Well, I may only have a passing knowledge of Odd Eyes, but I think I know a guy who could do better. Hey Genji, wanna spill your secrets to the world about Odd Eyes so people can pick up the deck?
Ah, Faye, my friend, I see you come to learn the ancient ways of the Odd Eyes dragons.
Yep, I'm breaking order of decks based on Hard Like Joe saying there's no documentation, but now there's gonna be some in the form of How to Odd Eyes, featuring the best Odd Eyes player I know aside from Tomato Hair himself, Genji the Sheika. Or I guess Genji the Sheika if you want to put a space between it, but YouTube says there's no space.
Did you really have to do Yuya that dirty?
Absolutely.
Anyway, Odd Eyes is a collection of dragons used by Yuya in the Arc 5 manga and anime that focuses on setting a fairly impressive board of dragons.
And the way they do that is through everyone's favorite mechanic of Pendulum, specifically focusing around scales 1 through 8 with the best 8 scale they have being Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon.
Arc Pendulum, although being a normal monster with decent stats, primarily excels at summoning out other Odd Eyes monsters from the deck when an Odd Eyes is destroyed by any effect, including Sky Iris, which destroys a card you control to search for an Odd Eyes card, which you can use to your advantage.
Coupled with Arc Pendulum and Scale and one of the starters, Performapal Odd Eyes Valet, you can normal it, send any Odd Eyes or Performapal to the grave, then use Sky Iris to destroy Valet to search an Odd Eyes card, which will then trigger Arc Pendulum to special summon an Odd Eyes from the deck.
There are a good chunk of options to summon out with Odd Eyes Arc Pendulum Dragon, but my personal preference is Odd Eyes Wizard Dragon, since if it's destroyed, it does the same thing as Arc, letting you pivot, but also add the powerful Spiral Flame Strike from your deck to your hand. And since it is not a once per turn in any way, you can spam it. And from this point, when you get multiple monsters on your field, you're free to link summon Beyond the Pendulum, add a low scale, or Arc if you didn't have it already, and Pendulum summon what you can in order to keep climbing into higher links, like Exceed the Pendulum and eventually Appaloosa or Avermax, or go into the Odd Eyes extra deck pool.
The extra deck for Odd Eyes is very diverse, ranging from all forms of summoning, since Yuya had mastered all the summoning methods after he absorbed the other U-Boys.
And as a note with the fusion monsters in particular, Odd Eyes has their own fusion spell called Odd Eyes Fusion, which is poly, but if you're losing, you can use Odd Eyes monsters from the extra deck, but it does require you to be in a worse position than your opponent, so it's good for going second, but not for going first. I personally prefer Pendulum Fusion, which is much better as you can use scales as materials as well as monsters you control, so you don't have to commit to them that hard.
Speaking of, each of the Dimension Dragons used by the other U-Boys are able to be run in Odd Eyes to varying degrees of success, with Starving Venom Fusion Dragon being one of the best since while it's generically good for problem boss monsters, it also acts as a bridge into the evolution Odd Eyes Venom Dragon, which steals the attack and effect of a monster for the potential to beat it over and open the rest of the way for Odd Eyes monsters to OTK.
The Synchro side is lacking a fair bit though. I mainly use Clearwing Synchro Dragon, since Odd Eyes Synchron and Butler can conveniently make it, not to mention Odd Eyes Wing Dragon needs Clearwing. But we also did get a new Soul Flare Dragon announced, which is an extender, by bringing back a monster from the extra deck, although it kind of locks you into Synchros afterwards, so it's not entirely the best. However, I'm still holding out hope for some better cards.
And for the Xyz pool, you have the choices between all of the Dark Rebellion and Odd Eyes mixes, along with Absolute Dragon, which when sent to the graveyard for any reason, including lick material, lets you summon out one of Odd Eyes' few negates, Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, which bounces an attack position monster and serves as an Omni-Negate by returning a card in the extra deck to the deck.
I think you're forgetting something, dude.
Are you sure?
Odd Eyes crosses over with other Yuya archetypes.
Oh yeah, Odd Eyes can cross over with a few different archetypes, especially Performer Pal, Supreme King.
Maybe not Supreme King, but definitely Pendulum Magician, since when they were both first released, the Odd Eyes cards were specifically designed to work with Pendulum Magicians, especially since they're used by the same guy.
I'm pretty sure that's a whole other can of worms to get into, but that's about it for Odd Eyes. With how it's built and Master Rule 4 being a dick, they did get support in the form of Beyond and Exceed the Pendulum with Heavy Metal Foes Electromite, so theoretically it could work with Apo and SP.
If they didn't, I ordered the code.
Point being, Odd Eyes can be difficult to master, and if you want some more in-depth knowledge on the specific combos and use cases, you should be sure to check out Genji's channel, where he both plays a lot of Odd Eyes and even made a combo guide on how to Odd Eyes.
Yes, sir, and thanks for including me in the video. I shall return to my temple and rest.
Spiral flame strike!
Anyway, as Farfa would say, swing for home.
What is the deal with cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Sending from deck to grave? Now, I get it. They have special effects in grave and sometimes whole decks are built around it, but I mean really, why do decks send from there? Now for Phantom Knights it makes sense. They're so dead that it can make Concord blush, and Salamangreats are a metaphor for infinite chicken. But Raid Raptors straight up kill Mimicry Lanius and expect it to roost for them. Dragon Link put their own kin in the grave to be sent to the Shadow Realm for Magnamut, and Metal Foes take other scales behind the barn so they can make armor for humans to wear. You would think that they'd be able to run at 3 for this, but no, they're only at 1. On top of that, I don't even think they're paid well. I mean, there's plenty of $1,000 decks, but being one of whose sole job is to die must only pay 0.11 cents per hour.